Hello, I'm Professor Bill Lehman, founder of CollegeSuccess101.org, powered by Lake Erie College. My passion is helping students successfully navigate their college experience. As a professor and college coach, I created the College Success 101 course to share what I've learned over the past 10 years as to why some students succeed while others do not. The course is based on a talk I've given to almost 20,000 students in over 101 high schools, and a book I wrote called College Success 101, a professor's simple strategies for success in your first 101 days. And why do I emphasize your first 101 days? Because that is the average length of a college semester, from first class to final exam. And you have to make every single day count if you hope to get off to a strong start. If you're taking this course, you're likely a junior or senior in high school who's heading off to college this year or next. Or perhaps you're a high school freshman or sophomore looking to get a head start on the college success preparation process. Some viewers may already be freshmen in college. Either way, I'm glad you're here, and I want to welcome you to the College Success 101 course. By the end of this video series, which only takes 50 minutes to watch, you will have the necessary college knowledge you need to succeed, and any anxiety you have about college will go away, and you'll be left with only the excitement of what is to come as you begin the next chapter of your life. So, watch the first lesson. You'll be glad you did. With so much talk in the news about rising college debt, it is no wonder some people are questioning the value of pursuing a degree. But the most expensive degree is the one you don't get. On average, college graduates earn $1 million more than high school graduates over their lifetime. For some majors, it can be 3 to 4 times more. College is a big investment, and taking on debt is oftentimes necessary, but the returns are significant and justify the sacrifice. The earning premium of having a college education has only increased over your lifetime by 10% in the past 20 years alone. Now that you have 1 million more reasons to go to college, I hope you'll take the time to watch the rest of this video series and complete this course to make sure you're better prepared to graduate and to do so within 4 years. So, get ready to go to college. You'll be glad you did. Over the years, I've had the pleasure of watching more than 1,000 of my students walk across the stage at graduation, receive their diplomas, and go on and do great things in their careers. Unfortunately, there have been some along the way who did not graduate. In most cases, while not altogether surprising, their failure to graduate was completely avoidable. Did you know only 50% of students who go to college actually graduate from college? Both failure and success in college originate from within. The student you will become ultimately comes down to a choice, not to chance. When I give a live talk to students, I often start by playing a music video by Eminem called Lose Yourself. He begins the song with a compelling question that applies to college success. If you had one shot, one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted in one moment, would you capture it or just let it slip? The song ends with Eminem saying to himself and to the listener, "You can do anything you set your mind to." So very true. But you must make a conscious choice, a decisive decision to be part of the 50% of students who not only go to college, but graduate from college. If you do make this decision and put into practice the strategies I share in this book, you will not only graduate from college, I expect you will do quite well and to be well positioned for career success. So make the right decision and make it today. You'll be glad you did. There is a popular misconception that college is so much harder than high school. If you have finished the 11th grade, you're ready for the 12th grade. And if you finished the 12th grade, guess what? You're ready for the 13th grade. That's all your freshman year is, the 13th grade. So think about your freshman year as being the 13th grade. Now, what makes college more challenging is that you're essentially on your own to make good decisions, day in and day out. So every day you decide to go to class or not. About 50% of all freshmen make the wrong choices when it comes to attendance. No longer do you have a parent waking you up or dropping you off at school. And every day you decide to study or not. About 50% of all college students make the wrong choices when it comes to studying. No longer do you have teachers or parents nagging you to prepare for a test, write a paper, or complete a project. It's important to get off to a strong start. The first 101 days of college, the average length of a semester from first class to final exam, is critical to your success. Because how you start is how you finish. So start strong and finish strong. You'll be glad you did. Now, I want you to imagine you're 30 days away from starting college. You'll know where you're going to college and what 5 classes you will be taking. How would you like to know what to expect from each of your classes? Where would you find that information? The syllabus. It is the most important document for your college success. It maps out all the learning outcomes, expectations, assignments, and due dates. Despite its importance, about 50% of college freshmen don't read their syllabi, plural for syllabus, in their entirety. Not surprisingly, what percentage of students who go to college don't go on to graduate? That is correct, 50%. Clearly there is a connection, because if you don't know what's being expected of you, how can you expect to do well? You can get a copy of the syllabus for each class from your professors, and I recommend you do so before the start of the semester. Send them a formal, professional email requesting a copy. I'm always surprised by the informality in which students, especially those whom I do not know, will communicate with me by email. It is as if they're sending a text to their best friend, with spelling mistakes, grammatical errors, and incorrect punctuation. And it is never a good reflection on the student. With every communication to your professors, you want to make a positive impression, especially that very first email you send. How might this email, requesting the syllabus, sound? Here's an example. Dear Professor Lehman, my name is Amy A. Adams, and I'm registered for your College Success 101 class. I'm writing to you today to ask you to do me a favor of sending me the syllabus and confirming what textbook is required. I look forward to seeing you in September. Sincerely, Amy A. Adams. It's that simple. The professor will reply back with an attachment, which will be the syllabus. Save it and print it. And you have to get into the habit of printing out important documents, not relying solely on information from your smartphone or computer. And of course, read it. If you do this for each of your classes, you'll already be in the top 50% of all incoming freshmen from a preparation perspective. So, contact each professor and ask for the syllabus. You'll be glad you did. Before the start of fall semester, confirm what textbooks are required and order them. Textbooks are expensive, and you want to make sure you get the right one and the correct edition. Some students, in an attempt to save money, will try to get through a college class without the benefit of a textbook, and it always ends badly. Why? Because in college, the questions on the exams don't typically originate from the professors, but come from the publishers of the textbooks. So, you can go to every class, pay attention, and take notes. But if you don't have the textbooks, or haven't read the textbooks, failure is your most likely outcome. Students who have their textbooks by the first class are twice as likely to get an A. Those who don't have their textbooks by the first class are twice as likely to get an F. If money is tight, you can talk to the librarian on your campus to see if there are loaner books in stock, or request an interlibrary transfer from another college library. But this must be done before the start of the semester, or any books available will be gone. If you read the first chapter of each book before the first day of class and read your syllabi, You will now be in the top 1% of all incoming freshmen from a preparation perspective, well positioned to get off to a strong start during those critical first 101 days in college. Think about how much more comfortable and confident you will be walking onto campus on the first day of classes, having made an email connection with each of your professors, having read the syllabus for each of your classes, and having read the first chapter of each of your books. No longer will you be anxious. You'll just be excited about the start of your first semester at college. Oftentimes, how you start is how you finish, so don't risk your college career by delaying your preparation. Get started 30 days prior to the start of your first semester. So, get your textbooks and read your textbooks. You'll be glad you did. Let's imagine that it is now the first day of classes. How academically prepared do you feel for college? The two most important foundational subjects you need to be proficient at for college success are English and math. If you're not as prepared as you think you need to be in English and/or math, or any other subject or course for that matter, find a tutor on your very first day. Every college has a tutoring center whose sole purpose is to match students with qualified tutors, and they do so at no cost. Don't wait until you fail your first paper or test to get the help that you already know you need. But if you do fail your first test or paper, as I did my freshman year of college, don't panic. Put together a plan, starting with talking to your professor about what adjustments you need to make to your overall approach and study preparation. Don't waste your time and credibility challenging the grade that was given. Professors care more about how you finish than how you start. So, failing your first paper or test is not the end of the world. Many students wait until midterm, when they are failing a class, before seeking any help. At that point, it is too little, too late. Get help early and often. Being proactive will pay off when final grades are given. So, ask for help, early and often. You'll be glad you did. So it's now time to head off to your first class. How many minutes early should you be for your first class and for every class thereafter? 15 minutes. I call this the 15-minute rule. I had a professor once tell me that if I was 5 minutes early for class, I was 10 minutes late. How can that be? Because he knew then what I know now. The time before the start of each class is the best time to connect with your professor and with other students. If you make only one connection or meet one friend, you will be glad you invested the time. Arriving 15 minutes early to your first class allows you to confirm you're in the right place. And if not, you still have plenty of time to find the right building or room and still be on time. What is the very first thing you do before you enter the classroom? Don't know? You're not alone. I've given my College Success 101 talk to almost 20,000 high school students, and not one has ever given me the right answer to this question. The answer? Turn off your phone. Notice I didn't say, put your phone on silent or put your phone on vibrate. I said, turn off your phone. Why am I so insistent upon you turning off your phone during class? Because there are 5 ways to insult a professor. 1. Miss class. 2. Show up late. 3. Talk while he or she is talking. 4. Fall asleep. And 5. Check your phone. What does it say about you that you're in class, the professor is talking, and you are looking at your phone? It says that you think you have something more important going on outside of the class and can't be bothered. With your phone off, you can completely focus on what's happening in class and on learning. There are some students who won't graduate from college for the simple reason they don't know when to turn off their phones. Don't let that be your story, as that would be a sad story indeed. So turn off your phone during class. You'll be glad you did. Perhaps it goes without saying, but I will anyway. It is important that you introduce yourself to your professors. I'm always surprised by the number of students who walk by me on that first day, as if I'm not there, avoiding eye contact, wearing earbuds, staring at their phones, and then taking a seat in the back of the room. I don't take it as a personal slight, I just find it difficult to imagine how these students will succeed in the real world with such self-absorbed mindsets and underdeveloped social skills. So keep your head up, back straight, and walk in with confidence to meet your professor. How do you introduce yourself to a professor? 1. First name. 2. Last name. 3. Firm handshake. 4. Eye contact. 5. Smile. And 6. Thank the professor for sending the syllabus. It's that easy. Don't succumb to any perceived peer pressure and not introduce yourself. You're not in high school anymore, and your professors are the best hope for your college success. You are in college to build your personal and professional network, starting with your professors, and making a good first impression is a great way to start. So, introduce yourself to your professors. You'll be glad you did. When you go to a game or a concert, where do you want to be sitting? The front row. Well, you've paid a lot more money for this admission ticket, so get the best seat you can, in the front and center. So go ahead and sit in the front row. You can hear better, see better, and there are fewer distractions. Where you sit says a lot about you, your level of motivation, your maturity, and whether you're a leader or a follower. Don't worry about what other students who may or may not be there next semester think about you, and what's best for you. I have 5 rows in my classroom. On the first day, I assume what grade the students will earn based on the row they pick. The first row? A. Second row? B. The third row? C. The fourth row? D. Well, you certainly don't want to be sitting in the last row in my class now, do you? Of course, you can get an A from the back row just like you can from the front row, but studies show that students in the front row will outperform students sitting elsewhere in the classroom, especially compared to those in the back row. In fact, students sitting in the front row are twice as likely to get an A in class, while students sitting in the last row are twice as likely to get an F. Who would have thought where you sit in class would have so much impact on college success? It clearly does. So, sit in the front row. You'll be glad you did. Now, imagine there are 5 to 10 minutes before the first class starts. Students will start to sit down around you, to your left, to your right, and behind you. You don't know anyone, and no one knows you. What should you do? Introduce yourself. Not in the formal way you did with your professor, but break the ice by asking a couple basic questions, such as 1. What's your name? 2. Where are you from? 3. What are you planning to major in? Everyone is a bit nervous on the first day. You're not alone. Even the guy or girl, the one who looks so confident, they just want to fit in, make a connection, or begin a friendship. A simple hello and a quick conversation will go a long way to making you and them more comfortable and confident. You never know who you're sitting next to. I've had students who met in their first class who are now business partners, and 2 students who are now married. As you transition from college to career, your connections with classmates will expand your networking possibilities and increase the number of job opportunities in the future. So, introduce yourself to your classmates. You'll be glad you did. On the first day, the professor will review the syllabus in detail, so you know exactly what will be expected of you this semester. The good news for you? You've already read it. So for you, this class is a review. During the first or second class, the professor will present the first chapter of the textbook as a way of introducing the subject that'll be talked about all semester. The good news for you? You've already read it. So for you, this class is a review. Every class will be a review for you. Why? because you will have read each chapter prior to the class in which it is covered. Reading the chapter before class enables you to learn more. The class will go by more quickly, and you won't spend the entire class avoiding eye contact with the professor, hoping he or she doesn't call on you and find you to be unprepared. You will also be better prepared to participate. So, complete the reading before class. You'll be glad you did. You have to learn to become a very active and engaged listener in college. If you happen to be a student who is easily distracted, maintaining consistent eye contact with your professor will help you pay attention in class. While the professor is talking and you're listening, you should also be taking notes. It tells the professor that you care and that you're paying attention. Taking notes also allows you to review and recall what was talked about in class, and be reminded of the most important points in preparation for the exam. But the real reason for taking notes is simply to stay awake and pay attention for an extended period of time. Professors are educators, not entertainers, and it can be very challenging to stay engaged and focused for the full length of a college class, typically 75 minutes in length. Given the average attention span of a college freshman is only 15 minutes, this means you are potentially missing 60 minutes of every class. You can't expect to essentially miss an hour of every class and do well in college. So, take notes. Students will typically make one of two mistakes when taking notes. Either they will take no notes or take too many notes. Trying to write down every word the professor says is missing the fundamental point of taking notes. Take notes to listen, to learn, and to summarize what has been learned into key words, phrases, or short sentences. What you write down, you are twice as likely to remember. Take notes by hand and not using a computer. Studies show that notes taken on a computer are half as effective for learning as handwritten notes. The slow pace of handwritten notes, having to summarize what is being heard, is what leads to learning. Taking good notes takes some practice, and the act of doing so is actually more important than the process of reviewing them later. So, take good notes. You'll be glad you did. So, the professor is talking, you're listening, and you're taking notes. What else are you doing? Actively participating. Ask questions, answer questions, and make comments. Be an engaged learner. Participation is absolutely critical to your success in college. You need to make your name known and your presence felt, and the best way to do it is to contribute to the conversation. For a typical 75-minute class, I recommend the following frequency of participation. 1 time is good. 2 times is better. 3 times is best. How about 4 times? Now that's too much. Give someone else a chance to participate. So, the first time you know the answer to a question the professor poses, what do? Raise your hand. You may not know the answer to the next 5 questions. Don't worry about getting the answer wrong either. Professors don't actually care. All they really care about is that you are making an effort to contribute to the conversation. So, participate in every class. You'll be glad you did. I have never met a student who went to every single class who did not graduate from college. I've never met a college student who went to every class who did not graduate with a 3.0 or above. But I have met many smart college students who frequently made excuses not to go to class who did not graduate. The most common excuses students give for missing a class are: 1. They were sick. 2. They were tired. 3. The professor was boring. And 4. The class doesn't relate to their career path. Some students will look at the syllabus and determine that nothing important is being covered in class. Well, guess who thinks what is being covered is important? Your professor, the person who determines your final grade. What do you do if you are sick? And I don't mean hospital sick. I mean if you have a cold. Take medicine and go to class. You're tired. Drink a coffee and go to class. The professor is boring or the class doesn't relate to what you want to do after graduation. Suck it up and go to class. If you miss a day, you miss a lot. If there is an exceptional reason you must miss a class, be sure to communicate to your professor well in advance and ask a classmate, not your professor, to bring you up to speed and share with you what you've missed. So, go to each and every class. You'll be glad you did. Why is attendance and participation so important in college? Because professors use a lot more discretion when determining grades than high school teachers. Yes, professors weigh your performance on assignments, homework, quizzes, papers, projects, presentations, and exams. But attendance and participation can make a big difference, as much as 2 full-letter grades. Here's an example. 2 students both earned an 85 on all their assignments. In high school, they could confidently expect to earn a B. In college, it might be a B, an A, or a C. How could that be? Well, one student attends and participates in every class. They get an A. Meanwhile, the other student never participates and has poor attendance, which I define as having more than one unexcused absence. This student earns a C. Do this for 4 years, and one student will graduate with a 4.0, while the other will graduate with a 2.0. The good news? They both will graduate. The bad news? The student with a 2.0 will have fewer opportunities upon graduation. Why? Because employers come to campus and go to career services, where they only ask to see the resumes of the students with a 3.0 or above. Employers use GPA as a predictor of future performance. It is the easiest, most objective way to determine who they should interview for an open position. The best candidate might be a student with a 2.5 GPA who worked full-time and put him or herself through college. But employers don't have time to go through a tall stack of resumes to find that person. How do I know this to be true? I was a corporate recruiter early in my career, and now I work 1 day each week in career services, helping students transition from college to career. The key to success in college and in your career is to get yourself into the short stack. More opportunities mean more choices, and more choices mean more money. What's the best way to get yourself into the short stack? Simple. Go to every class. Participate in every class. So, keep it simple. You'll be glad you did. While it is important to maintain a GPA of 3.0 or above, there are other factors employers use to make a hiring decision. If you don't excel academically, there are other ways to tilt the odds back in your favor. When college begins, everyone is starting in the same place, with a blank resume. You have 4 years to develop skills, grow your network, acquire an education, get involved, and gain relevant work experience. Active involvement on campus and in the community, and demonstrated leadership experience in the clubs, teams, and organizations is the easiest way for you to differentiate yourself from other applicants. Be a joiner, and then become a leader. What really separates good candidates from great candidates? The quantity and quality of recent and relevant internship experiences, either paid or unpaid. An internship can be a 1-week shadowing experience, spending 1 month working on a specific project, or investing 1 semester or 1 year working part-time for a company, and everything in between. Remember, 1 internship is good, 2 are better, and 3 are best. If you graduate with a 3.0 GPA, were engaged in 3 campus activities, and had 3 internship experiences, don't be surprised if you walk across the stage at graduation with 3 competing job offers. So, get good grades, get involved, and get work experience. You'll be glad you did. Now, imagine your first class is over. What do you need to know about the next time this class meets? You need to know what chapter or chapters need to be read, what assignments are due, and what else needs to be done in preparation for future classes. Where would you find that information? You find it in the syllabus. But it's hard to manage your schedule and put together a study plan based on 5 different syllabi located in 5 different places. You need to summarize all your assignments and all the due dates in one place, your planner. Many students succeed in high school without a planner, as teachers are the ones who do all the planning. They provide daily reminders to the students as to what is due and when. Not so in college, as professors expect students to keep track when assignments are due on their own and may not remind the class of an upcoming due date. There are too many assignments and due dates to keep track of without a hard copy, not electronic, 30-day planner. At a glance, you can see what is due today, tomorrow, this week, next week, this month, next month, and plan accordingly. If you don't have a planner, you're planning to fail. Much of your success in college is based on proper planning. College students without a planner end up spending hours going over each class in their mind, trying to recall what is due and when. If students simply update their planner at the end of each class, they can avoid all this unnecessary stress and anxiety. Begin with the end in mind, starting with each assignment's due date, and work backwards in your planner, writing out goals for each study session, by class, by chapter, by hour. So, plan for success. You'll be glad you did. The planning horizon in college is different than in high school. In high school, most students are concerned about what is due that day. Some students show up to school unprepared and scramble throughout the day to get their assignments done before the class in which they are due. These students may give some thought to what is due for tomorrow when there's an exam or paper due, and they will cram for the exam or crank out the paper the night before. In college, this type of reactive planning and last-minute preparation will not suffice. If you have a team-based project due in 3 weeks, you better have already started it, otherwise you won't likely be prepared to earn an A. If you have a paper due in 1 week, you better have already started it, as you will have to 1. Research the topic. 2. Write an outline of the paper. 3. Write a rough draft. 4. Review the paper. 5. Make major revisions. 6. Give it to someone in the writing lab to review. 7. Make all necessary final edits. 8. Give it a careful final review. 9. Print the paper. And 10. Hand it in or submit it online. Count on it taking at least 10 hours over 10 days to write a research paper that results in a grade of A. An exam in college usually covers 3 chapters and about 120 pages of material. Assuming it takes 4 minutes per page to read, multiply that by 120 pages, it comes out to 480 minutes, or 8 hours of reading, which means more than 2 hours of studying per day for 4 days leading up to an exam. So, plan and prepare to produce and perform. You'll be glad you did. On the way out of class, say goodbye to your professor. In the workplace, greeting your supervisor is common courtesy, and your professor is the closest thing to a manager you have while in college. But the real point of greetings before and after class is to build rapport through regular conversation in order to make a connection with your professor, one that may last the duration of your college experience, or even a lifetime. Why is developing a personal and professional relationship with your professors so important? Because in 4 years you'll be graduating from college and applying for jobs. Employers will require you to provide 3 professional references who can speak about your past performance and future potential. Who better to speak on your behalf than your professors, who have known you throughout college? If your professors don't know you, they can't help you. You may decide to continue your education and pursue graduate school. As part of your application, schools will expect you to provide 3 references from your professors who will attest to your past academic performance and convey your future academic potential. But if your professors don't know you, that can't help you. Take the time to get to know your professors. Interact with them early and often. In 4 years, you will be rewarded when they provide you with the glowing reference or recommendation you need to transition to the next phase of your life. So, make connections with your professors. You'll be glad you did. It's time to talk about how to approach studying in college, as it differs from high school in many essential ways. How do you study in high school? You skim the chapter, you scan for bold words, you review the definitions, you read the chapter summary. If you do the above, you're good to go for the exam. So, how do you study in college? You preview the chapter, gain high-level overview of content. You go back and carefully read the chapter in its entirety. You reflect upon what you just read. You ask yourself, could I teach this to someone else? If not, you go back and you read the chapter again. Then you reflect again on what you have learned. And finally, you review the night before and day of the exam. This process obviously takes a lot of time. The average college student is required to read 1 chapter each week per class. So 5 chapters per week, or up to 75 chapters in total over the 15-week semester. If each chapter takes 2 hours to properly read, this equates to 150 hours per semester, or 10 hours of reading each week. So, study hard and study smart. You'll be glad you did. I recommend after the first class to schedule office hours. These are the times that a professor is in his or her office, hoping that a student like you will stop by and talk about the class and how they can help, or talk about your career and how they can help. Very rarely do students ever take advantage of this valuable opportunity. Why should you meet with your professors in their office? Because you want to be the first person who comes to mind when a professor finds out about a scholarship opportunity, a networking event, an internship experience, or even a full-time job opening. Attend each professor's office hours twice during the semester, once at the beginning to talk about the class, and once at the end to talk about your career. The investment you make in connecting with your professors will pay rich dividends for years to come. Here are some good conversation starters to consider during your initial meetings. 1. What was your college experience like? 2. What strategy should I use to be successful in college? 3. What is the best way to study for and succeed in class? 4. What resources or people on campus should I connect with? Relax and be yourself. Attending office hours may also make a difference in your course grade, as it is a form of participation. But don't wait until the week before the semester ends to make the effort, as your motivations for doing so will be suspect and won't convey a genuine interest in making a connection. So, schedule office hours. You'll be glad you did. So, how many hours per week will you have to study in college in order to get yourself into the short stack? The answer? 18 hours. Before you freak out by the prospect of going from studying 3 to 18 hours, let me explain a fundamental difference between high school and college. In high school, you go to school 5 days per week, 6 hours per day, 30 hours total. If you then study 3 hours per week in high school, you invest a total of 33 hours in your education. The average college student takes 5 classes per semester, each worth 3 credits, for a total of 15 credits. Taking 15 credits means you're in class 15 hours per week in college. Add the 18 hours of study time to the 15 hours of class time, and the total is 33, the exact same time invested in your education as high school. It's just allocated differently. In high school, you're in class more and you study less. In college, you're in class less and study more, but the total amount of time dedicated to learning is essentially the same. I recommend studying 3 hours per day, 6 days per week, every day but Friday. On Friday, you go to classes, rest, relax, and go out. Make friends. Make memories. You'll likely stay out late and go to bed late, wake up late, and eat late. On Saturday from 2 to 5 p.m., Take out your planner and refer back to everything I already told you about how to approach planning for success. Saturday afternoon is a great time to reflect upon the past week. Get caught up in a class in which you need to improve your grade and plan for the upcoming week or two. So, put in the proper time to study. You'll be glad you did. So, for the rest of the week, Sunday through Thursday, study from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m., which is after you eat dinner and before you go to bed. 7 to 10 p.m. is prime time. I call this time ESP, or Evening Study Period, which is prime study time in college. Before you head down to the dining hall, pack your backpack with everything you need to study for the night. Your planner, textbooks, notebooks, laptop, calculator, pen and pencil. When you grab dinner, throw your backpack under your chair and hang out with your friends. Afterwards, as your friends are heading back to the dorm to waste time between 1 to 3 hours, you go to the library. So why not study in your dorm? I will tell you why. Because dorm equals distraction. Some of the distractions are of your own making, including spending time on Instagram, binge-watching Netflix, playing PlayStation, etc. But now you also have to contend with your roommate or suitemate, or the guy or girl across the hall who's making too much noise. Get out of the dorm and get to the library. Library equals learning. Arrive at the library at 7 to 10 p.m. sharp and sit down somewhere quiet and comfortable. Take out your planner and review what you need to accomplish during this study session. Pull out your textbook, notebook, and pen. So, study in the library, not in the dorm. You'll be glad you did. So, what is the first thing you do before you start to study? You got it. Turn off your phone. Not for the full 3 hours. I know you can't do that. But you can turn off your phone for the length of a class. 75 minutes, or for 50 minutes, in order to be completely focused on your studies. How do you study? Remember the 5 R's. 1. Read. 2. Reflect. 3. Reread. 4. Reflect again. And 5. Review. Study for 50 minutes. Then take a break for 10 minutes. Check social media, send a text or two, make a quick phone call, use the restroom, get a drink of water, sit back down, turn off your phone again, and study for 50 more minutes. 50, 10, 50, 10, 50, 10. Follow this approach Sunday through Thursday, and by the time you go to bed on Thursday, you will have studied 18 quality hours and be doing quite well in your classes. So, remember the 5 R's and the 50-10 rule. You'll be glad you did. I expect many of you will have to work to help pay for college, and it may require you to work in the evenings during ESP. You will have to find another 3-hour block of time to study during the day, ideally in the afternoon from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. When you arrive to campus, or even better during the summer prior, seek out on-campus employment as it is more convenient and more flexible than off-campus employment. Work shifts are almost always between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., and campus supervisors are more inclined to accommodate your school schedule. Whether on campus or off, it is important that you are not scheduled to work more hours than you are committed to be in the library focused on your studies, which means 18 hours per week is the maximum number of hours a student should work while going to college full-time. More than 18 hours and it becomes a slippery slope, and what usually slips is your grades. Some of you will play a sport in college. The time commitment for athletes is demanding, sometimes up to 33 hours per week in season for practice, training, travel, and games. If the time spent on your sport is greater than the combined time, 33 hours, you should be spending in class and studying, you run the risk of not graduating from college. Make the most of your travel time on buses and hotel rooms, and make sure you're keeping up with missed classes. Maintain close communication with professors regarding upcoming expected absences. Remember, student-athletes graduate from college. Athlete students don't. So, manage your time and maintain your priorities. You'll be glad you did. For all students, but especially student-athletes and working students, it is best to schedule all of your classes back to back to back in the morning from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Typically, classes meet 2 times per week for 75 minutes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, or 3 times per week for 50 minutes on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. It is best to complete all your classes before noon, giving you the afternoon to go to work, grab a workout, attend athletic practice, participate in campus activities, or just take a nap in preparation for a productive ESP. Students sometimes believe that having extended breaks, an hour or 2 between classes, will allow them time to study, but this time is often wasted on unproductive endeavors. So much of your success in college is based on planning and time management. So, chunk your time. Schedule class time in the morning, free work practice time in the afternoon, study time in the evening, and sleep time at night. Taking a class that meets only once per week for 3 hours straight, or online classes that are only 8 weeks long and don't offer face-to-face interaction are not recommended. Especially for freshmen, in my experience, it doesn't end well in either scenario. So manage your schedule, or your schedule will manage you. You'll be glad you did. Preparation for college actually starts before the August 1st date I had you imagine at the start of this book. Don't wait until 30 days before the beginning of the fall semester to lay the groundwork to get off to a strong start in college. Here is a list of things you need to take care of before your first day. 1. Have you set up your college email? If you haven't yet opened your college email, do it immediately. Colleges start sending important information to your email as soon as you're accepted to attend school. You will most likely find information on the topics below already in your inbox. 2. When is new student orientation? Orientation is a very important step in transitioning to college. Many colleges offer a session specifically for freshmen and offer a lot of valuable information and tips on how to best navigate the resources at your campus. Make sure you find out when you can attend an orientation. Some happen before the start of school. 3. Is your financial aid in order? Check to make sure that your financial aid package is finalized and that you have a plan to pay any remaining balance. Contact the financial aid office at your college if you have specific questions. 4. When do you register for classes, and do you need to complete any placement testing? Some colleges have students register for classes quite early. Find out the deadline and make sure you're registered and ready to go as soon as you can. Some colleges may require you to take a placement test in 1 or more subjects. Check and see if this will apply to you and what you need to do before you can complete your schedule. Contact the registrar's office at your college if you have questions. 5. Do you need to register for housing? If you're living on campus, you will need to choose where you live and possibly select a roommate. Also, check to see if you are eligible for early move-in, which can make the process a lot easier. The summer before college is an exciting time. It's also a busy time full of change and preparation. So, the time to get started is now. You'll be glad you did. As College Success 101 is powered by Lake Erie College, I wanted to tell you a bit about the school I love, where I've worked over the past decade as a professor and program director and a college and career coach. Small classes and personal attention are a big part of the Lake Erie College experience, allowing students to get to know their classmates and professors. Students are supported by a staff and administration that ensure a quality education and engaging campus experience. Our caring and committed campus community is just one of the many reasons why I love Lake Erie College. Lake Erie College offers degrees across over 30 academic disciplines and provides student-athletes with the opportunity to compete in almost 20 NCAA Division II intercollegiate athletic programs. A Lake Erie College education encompassing both undergraduate and graduate studies emphasizes the liberal arts, leadership development, and lifelong learning, preparing each student to make a smooth transition from college to a successful career. I think Lake Erie College is a special place, and I think you will too. So, for more information, please go to lec.edu. Better yet, come visit our beautiful campus. You'll be glad you did. So, I've shared everything I know, based on my 10 years as a college student, both undergraduate and graduate, and 10 years as a college professor, both undergraduate and graduate, about what it takes to be successful during your first 101 days of college. By putting these tips into practice, you will be well positioned to get off to a strong start. This College Success 101 course has been based on a talk I've given to almost 20,000 students at over 101 high schools, and a book I wrote called College Success 101, A Professor's Simple Strategies for Success in Your First 101 Days. You now understand why I emphasize the importance of your first 101 days. You now know you have to decide to make every single day count if you hope to get off to a strong start in college. So, congratulations on completing the College Success 101 course. You now have the college knowledge you need to succeed. I am confident that you will go to college, you will graduate from college, and you will go on and do great things. I hope you're now feeling more prepared to start this next chapter of your life. I want to thank you for your time and your attention. Take care and hope to talk soon.